Brad Bartko is joining me on the podcast today.
Appreciate it, man.
The Beehive welcomes you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'll break it down real quick of how I got to know you just on social media.
Yeah.
Is I seen a lot of your posts and a lot of people sharing it, and you have a huge fan base on social media, and it's to do with all the charity work that you're doing around the city.
That's right.
And you are in a wheelchair, but I don't know how long you have been in a wheelchair, and if this is something that you grew up with, like if you have a backstory to that. So I wasn't really sure what the story was, but I knew that you were motivated and you had a reason not to be, which most people are looking for an excuse, and you seem to thrive in it. You've been smiling a lot more. You've been out there a lot more, and you motivate. And you have your own podcast. So right. I thought what a treat it would be to have you on here and maybe walk us through that. Brad Bartko, man, I appreciate you being here, making the time.
Hey, I appreciate having me and coming on down. It's a pleasure to be on and meet the crew. It's quite the setup here. They're awesome.
Not bad, eh? Tall individuals, but
not bad.
We'll fix them.
This guy used to play in the NBA. Did you play in the NBA?
He gets asked that all the time. No, 6'8" for nothing. What a waste.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. Love the guy. Without him, this Beehive is not possible. Trust me.
Thank you.
Your podcast, I wanted to know about that.
Yeah, actually, this is my second podcast. I had a podcast called Broadcast Sports for many years. I did it for about 8 years. We did about 315 episodes, all sports. We had NHL players on. We had general managers on. We had head coaches, reporters, and it was fantastic. It was awesome. And then that kind of tapered off. I went to college. I entered radio and TV programs, so I didn't really have much time. So that kind of took up most of my time. I kind of separated from that, and then I got inducted into Edmonton's Elite, which we can get into. It's basically, I guess, an elite group of Edmontonians that are doing well around the city, in the community, just positive and influential people, I guess. And a good friend of mine inducted me, and they said, hey, we also want you to do a podcast at Hallie's in West Edmonton Mall. Match, we were in Granville Casino for many episodes, and we're now going on episode 28 of the Brad Avery Hour. A good friend of mine is my co-host. He also has a sports background, and it's a sports podcast again. We basically launched it. That's where my passion lies, I think, and I that's where it started and where it stemmed from. I started when I was 16 years old, and here we are. So
how old are you now?
25, yeah. So been going a long time. You mentioned you wanted to hear my backstory. So I mean, yeah, I started in a wheelchair, born this way. I was born with a condition called cerebral palsy. So it affects the muscles and the bones in my body. Basically, my muscles grow faster than my bones, and my bones try and catch up, and it just makes things a little bit tighter. My right side is a little more complicated than my left side. My left side is very mobile. And this is all I've known. These are my legs or my wheels. And, it's funny because when I was first born, my mom was very young. My mom was 16 years old. She didn't even know she was pregnant. She thought she was going in for an appendix surgery, and she, everything hurt, and she didn't understand why. And I can literally fit in the palm of your hand. That's how small I was. I was 3 months premature. Doctors really didn't give me a fighting chance from the start. They told my parents, look, kiss him goodbye. He's going to get 24 hours. This is the way it is. Say your goodbyes. We'll, go from there. And 9 months later in an incubator, one operated lung, and one fully developed lung, and one still fighting and grasping for air. And, we fought through, and that's all I've known is to fight, for what I have and what I've been given. And nothing in life is handed to you. You got to make the most of opportunities and really the most of life, because and I know that we're not given a second kick of the can here. There's one opportunity. This is one life. And you and I both know it goes by in a blink of an eye. So we need to make the most of opportunities. And I think I was really embedded with that fighting spirit. It was nothing my parents taught me. It was nothing, I was raised the right way, but there was just always something in me that no matter what it was, I needed to fight to get it. I needed to, because there's so many people that counted me out. There was so many people that, oh, you're in a wheelchair, you can't do this. You're in a wheelchair, you can't do that. You know, broadcasting was a major drive of mine growing up, and I had grown adults look at me directly in the face, younger or even, you know, going into my adulthood, where you could never be a broadcaster because you're in a wheelchair. We could never make this work. You will never be anything. You will never do anything in your life, and that really, that drove me. And you know, that's the drive behind my life, is to I live for myself, yes, but I see other people with disabilities that give up on life, and they don't have the same drive or the same life that I live. So I want to be the voice for those people that look, no matter what condition you're in, whether it's a disability, whether you're blind, whether you're deaf, whatever it may be, you can still live this life. You have a chance. You have a shot. Let's make the most of it, and let's do it.
Well said.
Appreciate it.
Love it. That is some motivation for you. When are we going to release this episode? You should do it on like a Monday morning. That'll get your ass out of bed. That's beautiful, man.
Omar, I got a saying, and we've been using it predominantly lately, but it's not about me. It's all about we. You know, it's people I find need to stop living almost for themselves, and there's a point and there's a time to be selfish, and there's a time to look after you. I get that, I understand that, but if we look out for others and we make sure others have what they need, then we get what we got in tenfold.
Simple message.
I mean, it's the way life's got to be, man. It's the way it works.
Great.
So
I like it. I'm telling you, that's pretty motivating. I love it. What do you like more? Do you like your podcast more? Or do you like the charity work that you do more?
Man, I love it all.
Because you mentioned both of them were your passion.
To be honest, I love it all, but I think I really love the charity work. I really love giving back. I really just love making that difference and giving other people the opportunity to reach their full potential. And to be able to have that mark on somebody, whether it's a emancipated youth or an underprivileged youth or somebody with a disability or whatever it may be, but to say that, hey, he's doing all this, why the hell can't I do it? So to give somebody that hope and that glimmer of, you know what, life is so much more. Let's go live it and let's go do it. And that's my goal, is to, you know, it's inevitable. The two things in life are inevitable are taxes and death, unfortunately. Yeah. And you know, when I die, I don't want to be just, you know, blink of an eye and, oh, he passed away, he lived a good life, you know, and forgot about in 5 years. I want to be remembered, you know, for decades. I want to be remembered for, you know, for years, because, and it's not, you know, because of, you know, the person I am, and it's not for selfish reasons. It's for the impact I made around this world and in my community, in my country, and with the people I meet. Because we talked about this off air, but I hold my relationships very, very close to me. None of my relationships to me are fake. None of my relationships to me are small. Everybody on my friends list, everybody in my circle, everybody in my family matters, and they know that I care. Whatever it may be, anybody can come to me, and I'm willing to help in any way, shape, or form. What
have you been doing longer, the podcast or the charity work?
I would say the podcast.
Yeah.
I really, like I said, I had a drive for charity work, and I did it. To be honest, the podcast started when I was 16. And then the charity work really started when I was probably 17. I had a major operation. A big driver of mine and a big goal of mine was to walk across the stage to receive my diploma for grade 12 graduation. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to, you know, just show that anything was possible. And doctors came to me and said, look, we can do one last operation before you're 18 years old, and this is a big one, and we're basically going to reconstruct your legs. We're going to bust your legs from the kneecap down completely, and we're gonna help you. Hopefully this improves, you know, help you walk and makes your life a little bit easier. And without hesitation, I said, yeah, let's do it. And it's crazy. I still, you know, can envision it and be there. But nobody knew I was coming back. The school didn't know I was coming back. I was away for for 6 months recovering, rehabilitating, doing class in the hospital, recovering. And when I came outside that curtain and to hit the stage and to see 2,000 people chant your name and stand up, and I'm like, I stood there. I told the teacher, I said, I got to sit here for a minute because this is what I've worked for. It's right here this is to walk across that stage. To me, the diploma didn't matter.
Did you end up doing that walk?
Oh, hell yeah. I did that
you
walk.
You were 18?
Yeah. I would have just about been 18.
Okay.
Yeah. And then from there, due to, still not really being able to fully weight bear, a charity called Easter Seals, they help people with disabilities. Basically, they help them with wheelchairs, chairlifts, whatever they need around the house, just to make their, day-to-day life a little bit easier. They provided me with a chairlift to get up and down my stairs at my parents' place for about a year. I couldn't weight bear for 6 months, so we just kept it there because it was just a little bit easier on my parents' back and everything else. And
your parents started using it?
When
the whole family benefited from it?
When people start drinking, they start to use it.
That's more than most people have done for their parents, by the way, just so we're clear.
That's right.
My parents would be like, why couldn't you do that for us? Go on, sorry.
And Easter Seals saw this, and they go, we need you to represent our brand. So my job was to basically meet with the media, do interviews, do charity golf tournaments, do all this stuff, and just be the face of Easter Seals. And I did that for a year. They only allow you to be the ambassador for a year, and then you got to pass the torch. So I passed the torch after a year, but they liked it so much they kept inviting me back. So I did other events, and I did the golf tournament every year, and I still do the golf tournament every year. Kevin Carrius Classic, I've
seen photos of that.
He's a sports reporter, Global Edmonton,
Yeah.
and so he became a real good friend of mine. And then of course he comes on the show, and then you meet all these hockey players, and they come on the show. And
you and Luc Robitaille work pretty close together.
Yeah,
he's an ex-LA King.
Yeah, he's actually.
What number was he? Wasn't he
number 20?
Number 20, that's what it was.
He's the president of the LA
I've
Kings
always
now.
liked him as a hockey player.
Yeah,
And so what's he like because he works closely with you? Him and his wife, right?
Yeah, we're actually going down next Thursday. We leave
to LA to see him.
To LA, yeah. Crazy story actually on the note of the podcast. It was a very dry few months. We didn't have a guest on. Things are kind of slowing down. And I don't go through PR. I don't go through media. I go directly to the source. So if I want a player on, I'm tweeting the player. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. And I'm telling him my story. Look, this is what we're doing. This is episode 300. This is what I want to do. You like it or you don't like it. Leave it or whatever. Yeah. And I reached out. For some reason, something came over me that day. And I searched in Luc Robitaille on Twitter. Yeah. Nothing came up, but a Stacia Robitaille came up. And I thought maybe it was his sister, but it turned out it was his wife. I caught her on a really bad day. She battles with some things of her own. Yeah. She's got just some muscle issues and some back issues and whatnot. So I caught her on a really rough day, and just a message I sent her kind of inspired her. And she reached out to me right away. I got a message back. She actually phoned me that day. We had a really great conversation. Just talked about life, just right about now. And she was so inspired in the 20-minute conversation that she goes, Luc, we'll do the show. We're back in 3 weeks from they were on a trip. And she goes, we're back in 3 weeks, but I also want you to come to LA and speak to our youth and speak to our charity. And I said, well, what's your charity? And their charity is called Echoes of Hope. It helps emancipated and foster youth go to college. So we pay for books, backpacks, education, housing, whatever it may be. And this is not just any youth. These are youth that they're motivated and they have something. They just need course correcting. And that's what they do. I mean, these are kids from their parents are alcoholics, their parents are drug addicts, just some rough upbringings. But these kids are amazing. And I jumped at the opportunity. We said, yeah, Luc came on the show. We did the interview. It was fantastic. And then it was about 3-4 months after we ended up going to LA. I spoke to about 100 kids. And instantly, I never felt like I was someone new. I felt like I knew these guys for 20 years. Luc is the humblest, most kindest person. Stacia the same way. They're the biggest. They have the biggest heart in the world. And you know, we did some cool things. I mean, outside the charity work, we did Thanksgiving dinner at their house, American Thanksgiving, and it just, like I said, it was a big family. We did a Kings game, and Luc Robitaille is a big Guns N' Roses fan, so we ended up going to see Guns N' Roses, and that was kind of cool. And
who doesn't like Guns N' Roses?
Right, exactly. So this time's going to be pretty much the same. It's not American Thanksgiving. We're going to go down. It's a charity poker tournament. They raise money for you, same thing.
And you're the Canadian ambassador, for Echoes and Hope.
Correct, yeah. It was.
And that's their charity?
Yeah, that's their charity. They started in 2005.
Good for you. This is in 2005?
They started. I started. I've been with them for 2 years.
Okay,
up here
that
in
makes
Canada.
sense, yeah.
Yeah. They started in 2005. They seen Stacy was actually on a trip in New Orleans, and Hurricane Katrina hit, and you know they seen everybody without houses and all these kids, and she goes, "We need to do something." So they came back and started Echoes of Hope, and the rest has been history there.
Good for them.
And they were there's nothing like that in Canada. So they looked at me and said, "We need to do something, and we want you to steer the ship."
I wonder why they picked you.
I'm not sure. I'm kind of, I try and stay humble.
Maybe because you motivate people.
I appreciate
You're perfect
that.
for it, man.
You know,
and you love it. Obviously, I could tell.
I love it. These kids have, like I said, I keep calling them kids. Some are adults.
Yeah.
But they family. You know, they text me all the time, and you know, I'm having a rough spot. What do I do? You know, just to pick me up or whatever it may be, and it's incredible, man. I don't see him as Luc Robitaille, the hockey player. Mm-hmm. We barely talk hockey. Of course we talk hockey, but
that's probably the last thing he wants to talk about.
Exactly. when I go down there, it's all about, hey, we're friends. How are things going? How's life? You know, they're a huge supporter of my podcast. They're a huge supporter of my business. I've been in business for 5 years by myself as well, and they're huge supporters of that. And
what's that business?
I'm a financial broker, so I help people save money, save tax, and get in better financial shape.
And motivate them just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Goes hand in hand.
And I'm independent, right? So for me, I come across, I'm very educational. I like to treat my clients just the way I like to be treated. Nobody likes to be sold anything, so why would I sell my clients anything? I take a very educational approach on what I'm trying to do, and you take it or you leave it.
Give you the facts, and it's up to you.
Exactly, 100%. And I treat them like my best friend, right? Like I treat you, you know, with respect, and I understand it's about money and all this stuff, and whatever's going to make you comfortable, let's do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's fantastic. I really live life just, you know, I guess we're taking care of other people, man. That's
pretty satisfying on its own, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once you actually understand it and go do it, because it sounds tough at first. You're like, well, I got to do all this stuff for people, but once you start doing it, there's a satisfaction there that can't be quenched with anything else. You know what I mean? There's a certain thing about it.
See, and
helping people out.
The biggest thing, Omar, is you got to be real, because people see right through that. If you're fake and this is all for publicity or this is all for whatever, people are going to see through that eventually.
You might carry it on for a few weeks, nice and
exactly.
Good, but then at some point you're just going to reveal who you really are.
100%.
The mask comes off.
100%. So the biggest key in all is to be real and genuinely care about what you're doing and people and the people around you, and obviously yourself, and you just gotta carry yourself with respect, right?
And you've been married for how long now?
We've been married 2 years together. For
2 years, Jen?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
Jen's
you.
off camera,
Thank
but she's here with us. And where do you guys live? What side of the city?
I live on the West End.
West End.
Yeah, by West End Mall.
You ever see that guy dancing on the corner?
Yeah, Dancing Dan. Yeah,
Dancing Dan. Do you know Dancing Dan?
Actually, funny story. I grew up in Spruce Grove, and that's where he started.
Really?
In Spruce Grove. So.
Can you bring Dancing Dan on the podcast? Because I've never heard him speak.
That would be amazing.
Right? I'd love to have him here.
I've never heard him speak either. I don't know.
Yeah, he's just a wicked dancer. Probably just get him to keep spinning in the same spot.
Yeah, done.
I love Dancing Dan. That was his name. That's right, Dancing Dan. Yeah. So you guys are living west right now.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, yeah. And do you have any other things that you talk about on your podcast besides sports?
No.
Is it just a sports podcast? Is that why you have a lot of NHL players?
Yeah, it's very
coaches?
sports driven.
Yeah.
It's very sports driven. My co-host is very much. He's actually with the Eskimos. He works with the Eskimos, and he runs his own podcast too. So we're
Where are you
both
shooting the podcast out of?
Howley's in West Edmonton Mall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You do it out of the mall.
Yeah,
how's the sound acoustically in the mall? Because we were thinking about that, and the sound just from the mall must be crazy.
Where we are, because in Howley's, in the restaurant we're in, is closed. They're only open Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So there's nobody in where we are. We're by ourselves. We're on our own. So it's very good. The doors are closed. Nobody comes in and disturbs us. It's very quiet. Now, if you were to do it on like a Thursday night or a Friday, then it might be a different story.
Okay, so sound is fine there.
Yeah, sound's no issue at all.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's pretty cool, because I always thought it was going to be really loud when we got that West Edmonton Mall offer thing. We were talking about doing a podcast maybe there and doing it in the middle of the mall and doing it where it's busy. I'm thinking acoustically, this just would not work out. It's loud, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure how
here we have to shut down everything.
Yeah.
Like, look at you guys. You guys are perched up like gargoyles, frozen. Nobody's got their phone on. Everybody's in like deer mode. So it's difficult to do that, but that's cool. So it's you and a co-host. And how many guests you guys have on at a time?
Typically one.
Typically
one, yeah.
How many episodes do you do a week?
One a week. We do it every Monday. Every Monday.
You see, you are the motivation guy. Every Monday. That just makes sense. That's when you'd release it. And what time do you do it?
8 o'clock. We actually do it live. It's live on Facebook.
In the morning?
No, 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Yeah. You ever tried a morning one?
In
your past
episodes? We've only, even with my last podcast, we did it at 9 p.m. It was always in the evening, just what worked for me and my co-host.
And plus the mall totally slows down at night.
Exactly.
You do it at 8 o'clock. I think
8 o'clock, there's nobody there. Yeah.
Okay.
Especially on Monday, right? There's nobody there.
And how many episodes are you in? 50?
No, we'll be, the new one,
like
this will be 28.
28.
28, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The last one, you got up to 50 episodes?
No, we did 350.
350.
8 years.
I was going to say, that's a long time.
Episodes. Yeah.
So you did one a week on that one as well?
We did one a week. Yeah, one a week.
Was that one sports?
All sports. Yeah,
all sports. So you love sports?
Man, you cut me open, I bleed copper and blue. I don't bleed red.
Hey, oh shit, you're one of those? Where's your hat, man? Where's your jersey?
I thought I looked nice for you tonight.
Yeah.
I come out good.
Nobody's worn an Oilers jersey. Would have been the first. What if this goes all crazy viral, man? You're going to have to wear that. What do you got on right now? An Eagles t-shirt?
No, I got American Eagle t-shirt.
Oh,
I did my hair. We're good.
All right.
Look good.
Just saying. So what do you feel about the Oilers? How do you think we're doing?
Barring the tough schedule, I think they do well. 8-7-1. Couldn't ask for a better schedule. We talked about a couple weeks ago. They started 0-2. We were kind of concerned. We were a little bit worried. Here we go again type thing. And I thought maybe this be a 4-8-1 team or maybe a 3-9-1 team. But 8-7-1, I'm okay with it. The road trip was a little bit tough. They had a tough swing this trip. Playing Washington twice was no feat. Chicago twice was no feat, and they beat them. Tampa Bay, obviously, Detroit. They beat Detroit, but you play Tampa Bay, Washington back-to-back, and then you go into Florida. I mean, Florida should have been an easier win. They had Luongo back, though. Luongo was red hot. So I would expect now on a 4-5 game homestand coming on Sunday, I think they'll turn it up again and get a couple W's on the home ice. So it'll be good.
Well, coming from somebody that knows a lot about the Oilers, I feel more confident now. I'm going to watch more games.
I hope so. Yeah.
What did they do last year to this point? Like, were we off to the same start?
They were out of the playoffs by
now? They were like 2 weeks in, man.
They were bad. They were atrocious. They were terrible. They were garbage. I can't remember their exact record. I think they had like 4 wins or something at this point last year.
Okay.
So much better start. Better start. Yeah.
Thankfully, we live in a city where everybody is an Oiler fan, and we all know what's happening with our team.
100%.
And I don't want to make this podcast about the Oilers as much as I love them. And I got enough of the Oilers around me, family-wise. So I won't get too much into that. But I'm going to flip the script on you just a little bit, because we tend to do that on the Beehive. We tend to ask the hard-hitting questions, because we're all being motivational and speaking truth and talking charity, and nothing about this is negative so far. But I want to turn it a little negative. I want to ask you, what pisses you right the fuck off? Like, what is it that bothers you? Because there's got to be a part of you that is just pissed off, because I got that part. Everybody here has that part, has 100%. That side of them. What bothers you? What's your pet peeve? You have to have one, man.
What really grinds my gears, and
my gears. That's the sentence I was looking for.
I'm gonna be brutally honest with you.
Please.
Is when people make up their mind before seeing things, and like they have their opinion about you or about what you do before they
prejudge.
Prejudge.
Yeah.
Right. Like
guilty.
Don't prejudge me.
Guilty.
You don't know me. Get to know me and then judge me.
Yeah.
Right. Like I don't. Why judge me? Because I'm in a wheelchair, or because this, or because that? Like, it's crazy. I'd be on a dance floor or something. I love to dance.
You don't dance.
So I'm on.
Are you good?
I like to think I'm okay.
Really?
I got some moves, I think. Yeah.
No, okay, because I can't dance for shit.
I like to think so, and I'm on the middle of the dance floor, and then you should see.
Jen, is this true?
It's true. He's a very good dancer.
Okay.
But
Confirmed.
Confirmed. See? Confirmed.
I got no rhythm with my feet, let alone a fucking wheelchair. You know what I mean? That'd be hard to find.
And what grinds me is people. You walk into a room and people treat you like you're a fucking alien, right? It's like, oh my god, you're an extraterrestrial, like E.T. Oh my god, he just stepped out. No, man, like I'm in a wheelchair. I'm a normal human being.
Yeah, what, you just didn't have your lights on when you came to the studio today? I didn't see any lights on.
Right? Like, treat me normal. Like, you get these people that bend down to your level, and they bend down when they talk to you. I'm like, stand up straight when you're talking to me. Like, I'm not a child. You don't need to, you know what I mean? Like, I treat you with respect. I would hope.
Just because I can't see your disability and you can see mine doesn't mean you should treat me any different.
Hey, man.
Because people knew about people's disabilities, not the physical disabilities, they'd be treating them different as well, right? So it's just a matter of viewing it.
100%.
And nobody wants to be either reminded or treated any differently, because I'm sure you get the people that have been through your life that put you down to make you feel like you're not worthy of achieving a certain goal.
100%.
But there's also people that overtreat you with like too much love and too much, you know what I mean? It's like, don't do that either. You know what I mean?
There's gotta be a fine
I'm one
line.
of you. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah. I'm 2 feet lower, in eye level, but I'm still got the same blood going through my veins. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. So
we're in the 21st century, and I would hope, and my hope and my prayer and my message, I think, even when I speak, is let's see the ability, not the disability.
I like that.
Let's take the disability away from everything and see my ability, see my work ethic, see how I treat people, see how I carry myself, see how I interact, just everything. Don't right away see my wheelchair and, oh my god, I'm so sorry you're in this position. Don't feel sorry for me. I don't need a pity party.
Yeah.
If you're going to be my friend, be my friend. Be my friend with me. Not because I'm in a wheelchair, or not because you feel sorry for me or bad for me or whatever it may be. I'm a human being, so treat me like a goddamn human being.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's one thing definitely that grinds my gears for sure. Yeah.
What else grinds your gears? Come on, give us one more.
You know what? Not a heck of a lot. I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I get along with a lot of people. Nothing. I hate people that like to armchair the Oilers, like armchair GMs. So, oh my god, we're gonna trade this guy 5 games in, or we're gonna do this, or we're gonna. So that's another thing that grinds me.
You can't help talking but sports.
It's like, don't do
I gotta talk about the Oilers. I gotta talk about the Oilers. No, man, we're not turning this podcast into a sports podcast.
No, of course.
You do enough of that.
Yeah,
in your studio. What grinds your gears besides that? The people that either prejudge or treat you too good or don't treat you good enough, and they're always, they're always making up their mind before they actually get to know you and dive in a little bit closer to who you really are as a person. What else? Come on, there's something that bothers you. There's so much that bothers me. You could be here for hours.
Yeah.
Jen, what bothers him? You always ask the wife if the husband can't answer.
There's always the people that use the elevators. And then
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing.
see you out. Those are the two things.
Yeah.
I knew we were going to be
that
able to
was the
count
other
on
thing.
Jen. What's with the elevators?
Good to see me out and the elevators. We'll get into both of those. So the elevators. So I'll give you a prime example. We're at the mall, right? I'm going to the movie theater.
Yeah.
Well, I can't take the escalator, so I got to take the elevator. So guess what? But I'm sitting there waiting for 10 minutes because there's able-bodied people that are lazy and they like to take the elevator. I'm like, dude, you're right around the corner from an escalator. It does the same thing, but you have to stand. You're still standing. So get up there and make room for me.
I'm guilty of using elevators.
I think we all are.
But if I see you at the door, like I would let you in first.
100%.
Or if there's no more room and it's only one of us, I'd let you go on.
100%.
You know, I'm respectful like that.
Yeah.
But I have used elevators, and I don't appreciate you calling me lazy
No,
because I don't think I am.
no.
But I have used elevators. What else? We
There-
said elevators, and there was one other thing.
There are some people that are just lazy though, and we won't get into that.
Yeah.
But
I've had those days too.
that's
Oh,
a
I'm not
different
counting
topic.
myself out. So what else grinds your gears?
And the other thing is, good to see you out. Like, I'll be at dinner at a restaurant, or I'll be at a bar having a drink with friends, or a concert, or whatever it may be, and I'll have this person just randomly. I might not even know them, and maybe it's two people a night, one person, whatever. But they'll come up to me, they'll bend down again, get down to my level because they don't think I can see them. They get down to my level and say, "Good to see you out."
Good to
Excuse
see
me?
you out.
Excuse me? I'm not allowed to leave my house? Why? Because I'm in a wheelchair? I'm supposed to stay home? Like, you know, and
Good to see
they
you out.
treat you like it's...
Maybe they don't
They
mean
start
it that way though.
babying
When you know, it's kind of like if one of us had, for example, I just busted up my ankle playing hockey the other day, so I've been limping around like straight up for a week around these guys.
Yeah.
If Tanvir sees me,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting down, I'm at a restaurant, and Tanvir says, "Hey, good to see you out," he literally means because I literally have an excuse not to fucking leave the house because of my penguin walk, but I'm still out there, you know, living it up. So I think when people say that to you, "Good to see you out," I think it just means that you're an inspiration in the fact that you're out because you've obviously found that thing that everybody looks for, whether it's drive or motivation or just living up life. It's good to see you out. I think most people, I'm not speaking on behalf of everybody, but it would mean that it's genuinely good to see you out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You got
Not they let you out.
No.
That would be like, you know what I mean? Like somebody says, well, somebody left the gate open, or you know what I mean?
Right,
That's
right.
different, that's a jab, you know what I mean? But
100%.
saying to somebody it's good to see you out, I think it genuinely means good to see you
Well,
out.
and
you know?
and to be quite honest with you, there's not many people in wheelchairs or with disability. Like I said, I'm not speaking on behalf of everybody,
Yeah.
but in my experience, not everybody has the same zest for life I do. So like I don't I don't go to a bar and see 5 other guys with wheelchairs. Like it just doesn't happen. So when they say that, it's new to them. Like they don't understand it. Some
Maybe it is new to them.
Maybe they don't get
None
it.
of my friends are in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so I'm glad I'm able to have like a conversation about what we're talking about
100%.
without saying something stupid that I don't understand, because I really don't.
Yeah.
But I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm trying to think of like how somebody like me would what he would say to you if you're out. You know what I mean? And
100%.
the term like, "Hey, good to see you out," I don't think I would mean it the way you're taking it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
100%.
So I'm not speaking on behalf of everybody, but again, I think you just hope people have the right intention, which I'm sure not all do. But.
And that's all you can hope for, right?
Yeah.
Because people are people, and things are gonna happen. Some
Yeah.
people are genuine, some people aren't, and some people are just, straight up assholes. So that's
What's
world we live
the
in.
coolest thing somebody's done for you? We'll switch gears because we're always grinding your gears. What's the coolest thing somebody's done to you besides Luc and the podcast and all these great things that have been happening to you? What's the besides obviously Jen and what she does as your wife, because I'm sure that's no easy feat either. That's really inspiring, by the way, Jen. Like, you literally came down to the studio and she was carrying you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've never experienced that, in front of somebody. You know what I mean? I don't have many friends that are in wheelchairs or have major disabilities that I've come across, right? Just in my personal circle. But just to see how Jen and you were coming in, I mean, who the fuck needs anything else when you guys have the kind of love that you have for each other, and what she was doing. And it just makes you think, man. I'm walking behind you guys and I'm thinking, like, that's cool, man. You found that one thing that all of us search a lifetime for, and you did it with an excuse that you could just have been wanting to be left alone. And I know, not a personal friend, but somebody in our community that is in a wheelchair. He got into a bike accident, I think, when he was in his early 20s. I think he's a little bit older than me, and he ended up in a wheelchair. It just happened right at that accident. He lost all use of his legs, and every time I see him, he's in the greatest of moods.
Yeah.
Like the guy does not stop smiling, and not a fake smile either, but just like just a fun person to have around. So that was the only example I had.
Right.
So when I saw you and what you were doing, especially online and on Facebook and on social media, it motivated me to have a conversation with you, because I know somebody that kind of approached it the same way you have, and you guys are just more inspiring than you know. But I just wanted to know about the things that bother you, because I want to know. I genuinely, selfishly want to know for me. You know what I mean? I don't want to go on your podcast and be like, it's nice to see you out, Brad. You're like, fuck you, Omar. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to have that kind of conversation. So it's good to know. It's for personal.
But I know you though,
well.
so it's a little bit different, right?
Yeah,
when
but hey, people still make mistakes.
100%.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too. Is like when I'm out in public, if I'll hold my wife's hand, or walk through the mall, or what normal couples do, and people will legitimately
Normal
stop.
couples hold hands?
Apparently.
I don't remember seeing many couples hold hands, but okay.
But people will legitimately stop whatever they're doing in the mall, especially in the mall. I noticed it. They'll stop and stare, and they'll like. It's almost like I turned to one guy at one point because he his mouth dropped open, and I turned to him and I said, "Take a picture because it lasts longer. Here, give me your phone. I'll take a photo and you can look at it."
Why are you offended by that? Why are you offended by that?
I feel sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, I'm like a zoo animal. Like somebody just.
Do you think that's how that person's looking at you?
Normal, and
do you think that's how they view when they stop for a second and they stare, and
or
their
maybe
mouth is sort of dropped and they're like gazing at you?
But we talked about maybe it is because it's something new to them. Maybe it's wow, this is cool. Or again, the flip side, maybe it's, oh my God, like what is she doing with him, or what is he doing with her? Many thoughts go through your mind. So I mean, again, that's just something. It doesn't really grind my gear, but it's something I notice, especially being in the chair. You notice it more than, I mean, if somebody walked up to you and stared at you and you're holding a girl's hand. It's not. You'll be like, what do you what the hell?
What do I got on my t-shirt?
Yeah.
What did I spill?
Where it's a little bit different with me,
Yeah.
right? Now I'm looking around. I'm like, well, did I spill something? Like, is it my?
I guess the reason I'm asking you, Brad, is I don't want you to. Not that I don't want you to. I don't think that you should be viewing those kind of things that happen to you in that light.
As
and
bad.
I'll tell you why. Because you are a very motivating person. You have the mindset of somebody that's a motivational speaker. That's what you do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I just don't want you, of all people, especially you,
Yeah.
to be the kind of person that takes a stare or a look or people stopping. And maybe Jen can attest to this and say, you know what, Omar, he is kind of right. That guy was kind of being a dick in the way he was looking. I get that. I'm not I'm saying that's the exception.
Yeah.
But I just want you to look at things that are happening to you like that
Right.
in a positive light, because I do believe most of them are positive.
Interesting.
But it's so easy to see it the other way, because I would do the same thing.
100%.
If I was in a fucking wheelchair holding a girl's hand and some guy's looking at me, I would tell him the same thing. Take a picture. It'll last you longer. I would say the same thing.
Yeah,
but I'm just viewing you as somebody who's obviously very motivated,
Right.
and speaks their mind and
Right.
doesn't let a lot get to them.
Yeah.
Those could be some of the small things that you might be seeing in a different light.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Not all,
Interesting.
like I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
there are the exceptions, but
100.
I think there are things that happen like that where if it was me looking at you in the mall, I might not be looking at you.
I might nod at you, no.
No, I might not be looking at you in the sense that, oh, what are they doing? I might be looking at Jen going, that's so cool. Like, there is a lovely woman
100%.
that where most people in her situation might up and leave and probably suffer for it for the rest of their living, being, which is very sad, but it's a hard lesson to learn that way. But I could just be admiring, has nothing to do with you, Brad. It could literally have nothing to do with you, and I'm just admiring Jen.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a good
so
point.
that would
Yeah.
kill that moment for me in my dumb little head, just sitting there at the mall with a blank look on my face. If you turned around and you said, take a picture, it'll last you longer. I'm like, bitch, I was admiring Jen.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, it might not have anything to do with you.
Yeah, 100%.
But I just don't want you to look at it that way, because I think a lot of times we're so easy to judge, right? We're talking about
Yeah,
judging
100%,
somebody
100%.
before you get to know them.
Yeah.
Maybe that person you turn around and said that to doesn't really mean it that way. They're just in
Interesting.
awe, like, that's cool, that still exists.
Right.
I'm just giving you the
No,
flip
no,
side.
it makes
Like,
sense.
again, devil's advocate.
sure.
That's it.
For sure.
So
Makes sense. Yeah.
anything else that happens, like obviously you've been through a lot in your younger years coming up where you were told you can do this. That's obviously fucking different. Somebody looking you right in the eye saying you can't do something.
I mean, really, I just use all of that as motivation, man. Like to do better. And I've had people tell me like, oh, you can never be in the financial world. Like, what are you doing? This is crazy. And so I use that as motivation. I use that.
Why are people running around a lot in the financial world?
Well, it's not so much that.
Is there a
but
lot of
it's,
sprinting going on?
But it's more of a doing the right thing for a client. Because I'm independent, right? I'm an independent broker. So when you're a lot of people are independent and you run things your own way. You can do them however you want. And there's
How long have you been doing that for?
5 years.
5 years.
5 years. And there's some people, and I'm saying everybody, but there's some people that are money hungry and they don't see the client.
No, there's people that are money hungry.
They're just, but they
I
don't.
didn't think so. Of course, there's people that are money hungry. You're in the financial world. Obviously,
Right.
you're going to see that way more than a podcaster would see that.
But then where does the bad taste in their mouth come? A client gets ripped off, or a client gets their money's not there.
From anywhere.
So then I really take pride in actually doing what's right with the client, because I don't care if it pays me $100, but guess what? If I helped you in a right way and it leaves a good feeling in you and your heart, what is that going to do for me? You're probably going to send me referrals. You're probably going to talk good about me, and how's that make you and my business look?
Yeah.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, it's a win-win for everybody, and that's my objective. And so it's just the way I roll, man.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah. Fucking driven.
So, yeah.
5 years. So do you have an office, or do you work out of home?
Yeah, I work kind of all over the place. I got a brand new office.
Where's that? Is that at
just
West
off of
End?
Gateway?
Oh,
no,
okay.
just off of Gateway.
So you're like running around like a crazy person.
Yeah, and it's again because it comes.
You
down.
got things at West Edmonton Mall, things at Gateway.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
and your podcast at the malls once a week.
Once a week.
So are you
every
actually
Monday.
filming once a week, or is there a lot of editing?
No,
that goes
it's
on?
we edit it. It takes my co-host is really good at that. I kind of leave it up to him. He's more the editor, and it takes him about 2 days to get done, and game over. And it's usually up because we're on SoundCloud and TuneIn Radio as well.
Okay.
So when he posts those are up by Wednesday, Thursday, the latest of that week, and they're ready to go.
Do you guys have a lot of render time and exporting time that you go through?
I'm not really like I don't.
Yeah, you don't handle that.
I don't really.
But how long
that.
does it take? Like if you guys are finishing filming on Monday. Oh no, you're going live though.
Yeah, we do Facebook Live. Oh, and then he edits. He probably won't edit that night because
like releases a different version of it. Or
yeah,
that
it's more
version of
edited.
it.
Yeah, it's more
cleaned up. There's an
edited.
intro. There's
Right,
an outro.
Right, 100%. Yeah, like we went to the NHL we had Connor McDavid do an intro for us.
Yeah.
So when he cleans it up, when he polishes it and puts it together,
Connor McDavid sounds
you hear
normal.
Connor McDavid's promoting us, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, of course. He's got to add that on.
Yeah,
That's great.
So that's cool.
Okay. Were you born in Edmonton?
Born and raised. Yeah, Spruce Grove, and I was born in Edmonton.
Which hospital?
Moved to Spruce Grove. What is it? Not the Royal Oak. Is it the Royal Oak? Yeah, Royal Oak. Sorry.
Why is everybody born at the Royal
I've been
Alec?
at the
I'm born at the Royal Alec. I
Oak.
love that place.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We came far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just on the north side.
No kidding.
Yeah, I like to be that guy that says I was born in Australia, but I'm in Alaska right now. You know what I mean? I'm living a good life over here. Nobody's said that so far. Mind you, this podcast is very YEG. Like we're about Edmonton and the people in it and the interesting conversations there is to be had and people like you showing up just out of nowhere to either brighten up our Monday or tell us what they're up to. How can we support in our own little way? How can we be a part of the movement that you've been a part of for what, almost 2-3 years now with Luc?
Yeah. Like I said, I do an event every year. I try to do an event every year.
When do you do it?
A silent auction event. We actually just did our silent auction event last Friday. We're gonna total about by the time everything comes in, we'll have about 7,000 Canadian.
And you had a Blue Bombers jersey there. Argonauts jersey.
Yeah, that never sold. So
it didn't sell. That's still available.
Up on Facebook,
that's a pinball one.
That's a pinball one.
Okay.
That's up on Facebook. Yeah, and then there's a couple wedding packages that didn't sell because it just wasn't the right crowd. So those are on Facebook as well. And
if you want, I'll give you a painting or two to use in the auction.
Absolutely.
and hopefully awesome. It raises a little bit of money for you, just to help out. Yeah. And anything that we can be a part of, let us know. I'm big into sports, 100%. But not just as big as somebody like you is. But I'd love to stop by the podcast. I would submit them all just to even check 100%. It out and steal some ideas. You never know what new mics are out and new headphones are out. I'm just kidding.
And Long and McQuaid, baby. Long and McQuaid. And I just love to sit down and chat. We can have dinner or whatever and just kind of get to know you a little bit more too. And I think it'd be awesome. Good. That would be.
Have you ever tried Vocalese? I'm a little late in giving it to you, but this is something that we use on the podcast. And it's a honey spray.
Okay.
That you spray in the back of your mouth and it's supposed to, and you haven't even drank water because the chair is too low, but here. I'll hand that to you. Can you reach it? Yeah.
I can reach that now.
And give it a spray and see how that feels. That's from the good people at Vocalese. We talk about them like every episode, and we're gonna have a few clips for them. They better start just giving us a bunch of Vocalese to use. It's soothing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You should use that on the podcast. From now on, every podcast can be using Vocalese.
Vocalese.
Yeah. It's just that thing that I happened to walk by and I picked it up not too long ago and
sponsor the podcast.
The boys like it. I like it. I just keep shouting it. I have no idea what this company's reputation's like. They're probably somewhere in deep downtown Japan just making this in a basement and I'm just pumping it all over the air. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where it's from. Probably a black market, but good to have you, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much.
This is such a cool conversation.
Thank you so much.
You gotta leave us with with one more thing that we can just avoid doing to piss people off that might be in a wheelchair, might be a little restricted with movement. But what else could we watch out for? Us dumbass folks that keep staring and doing things that are just so out of our element.
I think, Jen, do you have anything?
Don't park in handicap spots.
That's another thing. Yes,
I paid my fair share of tickets. I've paid for that shit. So I made the mistake and I paid for it.
Well, you got to think like if I'm in a wheelchair, I want to park in a handicap, but some, I'm not gonna say everybody's a dumbass, but some dumbasses park there, and I gotta park 18 rows back to try and now you gotta unload the chair and then you gotta it's just a
like if I was in your position I'd hit somebody with a wheelchair. Like I would just let anger take over. So I'm glad I've never been into a huge altercations, but I have used those parking stalls before this is past tense.
We forgive you.
And I like I said I paid the $500 ticket or whatever it was to park there for the 10 freaking minutes that it was there. But no, I'm guilty of that. But you gotta have me stop by the podcast maybe
100%, man. Come on.
Maybe on a Monday. Like who's busy on a Monday night?
For sure.
And I think I got hockey coming up soon in the near future in the West End. I play in the men's league, so I'll probably be in that area then. Maybe even just check it out for 20 minutes.
Yeah, come on down. Dinner's on me.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah,
and you have, when's your next annual fundraiser? You said one just passed, so the next one would be.
So we'll do it. We'll probably do it next year again.
Okay.
We do them
around the same time?
We do them once a year. Yeah, around the same time.
Okay.
Last year was a little bit later. It was about this time last year because we did American Thanksgiving, but we're not doing Thanksgiving this year.
When is American Thanksgiving?
I believe it's
for those Canadians that don't give a shit.
Is it the 20? I think it's
just pissing them off.
I think it's the 20.
Hey, it was a good turkey.
It was.
What? 24th of what?
24th of November, isn't it? Something like that.
Oh, it just passed.
Something crazy.
No, it's coming around the corner.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to LA for.
Not for Thanksgiving.
But you're spending Thanksgiving there?
Yeah, we did that last year. Not this year.
This year might be back just before.
Yeah, we'll be because we leave the 15th to the 19th.
Yeah, so like who goes to LA for 2 weeks? I go to LA for 3 days. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. Yeah, exactly. And I think we're done here. But thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
You are a champ, and you are very, very motivating. I want to tune into the podcast, but like I said, I want to stop by one of these Mondays and check out what you guys are doing, and maybe we'll collaborate a little bit and just kind of shoot ideas around.
Anything you need, man, I'm here.
We gotta thank you, and we gotta thank Jen for being here with us. Next time you got to be on with us.
Yes.
Like, I don't want to keep looking over. Like, what do you think? We're robots over here? So next time we'll have Jen on.
Sounds
but I will definitely keep in touch with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I look forward to it.
Thank you, brother.
All right,
Take
man.
care.
All the best.